I'm going to show you how to do the next Adobe Illustrator assignment. This is Illustrator number 5. It's about patterns. This artboard that you're looking at right now will be posted on Google Classroom, and you'll need to download it and open it. And it keeps you on track. This is very similar to the previous assignment about gradients. I'm asking for 5 preset patterns that go in these circles right here. And then I'm going to ask you to design 5 custom patterns that will go in these boxes down here. You will need your swatches panel to work on this assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and get that open. I'll go up to the window menu and I will click on swatches. And it could already be open if it was open from a previous assignment. That's very possible. Kind of like the gradients, the first part here, the preset patterns, is not going to take you very long. Let me show you how to attack it. If you go to the library button, which is in the bottom left-hand corner of the swatches panel, drop that down and look for patterns right here. Now, when you get to patterns, there are 3 branches that you could explore. There are basic graphics, decorative graphics, and then nature. So you could go any direction you want from here. If you want to explore dots or lines, go there. If you want to look at these things called decorative legacy, monster patterns, check out what's there. Or if you want to go nature, check out what is there. I'm going to go to animal skins, but you pick whatever you want. You don't have to do it like me. So when I click on animal skins, let me move this over. I get a collection here of patterns that look like animal skins. There's zebra and leopard and things like that in there. And then this part becomes a drag and drop operation, right? The preset patterns, you just pull anything that's in a pattern library and drop it onto the shape, and then I think that's a snake skin kind of thing. And then I could pull this up here. They all have to be different. You cannot fill any 2 shapes with the same thing, but there we go. That's giraffe, and I could pull a different one up here. Oops, sorry, I got snake skin again, so I'm going to switch it, and I think that's alligator. All right, now somebody might ask, could I do all 5 with like these animal skins? Yes, that's okay with me as long as no 2 of them are the same. But if you are the more curious type, you might want to flip along here through, use the forward and back arrow to flip along through some other patterns. Notice that these are not gradients. Patterns are not the same thing as gradients, so don't fill the gradient. These are patterns. All right, so you could flip along here. Now, see, now I've run into some solid colors, so I don't want that. I'm going to hit the back button, and I could flip along here through different pattern collections and just grab something that you feel like you want to try and drop it onto your shape, and there you go. So the preset part of it is really easy. It's just drag and drop. All you have to do is go to your library button and find the patterns, explore around in the patterns, and then drag them and drop them, and that's all there is to it. Now, the custom patterns do take a little bit longer. There's a little more effort involved. I'm going to show you at least maybe like 3 of them. Maybe I won't do all of them in this movie. I don't know. We'll see. So the idea with custom patterns is you design a pattern that does not already exist in a library, right? These patterns here, these came with Illustrator. These are things that are just drag and drop. You didn't make them. They just came with Illustrator. So I want you to know how to make your own. And we're going to keep it, to begin with, a pattern can be made out of almost anything. So I'm going to keep it really simple to start with. I'll go get the ellipse tool. And it's anywhere on the artboard. It doesn't really matter where. I'm just going to draw a little circle. Not too big. If you're going to make a pattern, you don't want it to be very big. And I'm going to fill it with like a purple color. And I'm going to take the stroke. I'm going to take the stroke weight all the way down so there's no stroke around it. I set the stroke on 0. And so all this is a purple dot, right? That's all it is. Okay. So here's how you make your own pattern. You select that thing, whatever you made. And that could have been anything. It could have been a star, or you could combine some things together. Just use your imagination. It could be a stroke done with the paintbrush. It could be text. It could be anything that you want to try. Don't make it very big. Keep it kind of small so that you can see your pattern at work. All right, so I made a little purple dot, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to Object, Pattern, Make. Letting that sit there for a second so you can kind of memorize it. Object, Pattern, Make. And there's going to be like a warning box up here, which you could say don't show again if you wish. This is just telling you that the pattern that you're about to create will go onto the swatches panel. Okay. You could say don't show again. I'm just going to click OK. And it's showing me right here. It looks like my whole artboard thing disappeared, but it didn't. Don't worry. So here it's showing me what this pattern would look like for the time being. It's just rows of purple polka dots, right? But I do have some options. Over here, when you're working on a pattern, you get this new pattern, this pattern options box that pops up here. And right now it's set on what's called grid. All right, there we go. But I could change that. I could change it to brick, see what that did. I could change it to brick by column. That made a difference. I could change it to hex by column. I'm not sure I love that. I could change it to hex by row. Again, I'm not sure I love that. But I might go with like brick by column. I think that kind of looked a little bit cool, right? And I'm going to show you some other options here in a minute. But if you're looking at this and you're thinking, all right, yeah, I like my pattern. I created a pattern out of some purple dots, and it's in what's called a brick by column, setup. I can come up here to the top, and there's a button up here at the top edge that says done. So I just click that. Now what happened was the new pattern that I created got put onto the swatches panel. It's sitting right there. It's just called new pattern. I could have changed the name of it, but it's just called new pattern, and that's a drag and drop. Just drop it on there. And now my pattern that I created, that I designed, is in that box. And so that's the idea behind making a custom pattern. Let me show you another quick example. I could go get the star tool. I'll draw a star. I'm going to hit my down arrow as I'm drawing it to make it a 4-pointed star. I think I'll color it yellow. And I'm going to take the stroke. I don't want there to be a stroke on there, but that's up to you. You can have a stroke on it if you want to. So all I did was, I just made a little 4-pointed yellow star. That's all that is. So I'll just select it, just get it selected, click on it, and I'll go to Object, Pattern, Make. And I'm going to click OK. Again, you could say don't show this anymore, but I'm just going to click OK, and it's showing me what that would look like. And again, I could play with all of the options here where I say, I want to brick it, or I want to hex it. Now, I do want to show you this. If you click where it says Size Tile to Art, you can add some horizontal and vertical spacing. You have to check mark that thing that says Size Tile to Art, and then you can check mark these two, or you can add, if I want to spread it out a little bit. I'm looking at my pattern. Maybe I'll put 2 in for the horizontal, and I'll put 2 in for the vertical. And my stars just spread out a little bit. I don't know if you saw that happen, but I added a little bit of spacing. I put 2 points of spacing in there. So if I'm looking at it and thinking, okay, yes, I like this, that looks good, I would come up to this top bar at the top and say, I'm done, right? I'm pointing to it right now. You got to look here. I'm done. Boom. And then again, remember where these new patterns go? They get put on the swatches panel. And it's just, again, I could have changed the name of it, but it's just called New Pattern 2, so I'll just drag it and drop it, and there we go. That box is now full of my little yellow 4-pointed star. And so, again, don't overthink it, right? What if I just took like a paint stroke here, and maybe I want to make that paint stroke. Remember, if you use the paintbrush, the paintbrush paints with a stroke color, not a fill color. People struggle with that. So if I want to actually change the color of that paint stroke that I just made, I would have to change the stroke color and not the fill color. Okay, so I've got this red stroke of paint, and I'm going to Object, Pattern, Make. And I'm not sure this is going to look great, but it's a matter of trying it out. So here's what it looks like right now. It's on grid, and I could say, well, let's brick that and see what. So that doesn't look too bad. That's kind of a cool looking pattern. And so maybe I come up here and I say done. If you're looking at the preview of your pattern and you're thinking, yes, I like it, then come up here to the top, click done. That pattern just got added to the swatches panel. Drag it, drop it. There we go. Now, again, let me show you this idea. You could do it with text, right? I could take the type tool, and I could, when you take the type tool and click once, it's going to say lorem ipsum. So I backspace that out and, put in whatever it is you want it to say, tacos. And you could do anything that you want with fonts. Remember, it's going to make it Myriad Pro by default, but I could change the font, and I could change the color of the text if I wanted to. I'll make it kind of an orange color. And there, this just really tiny, I'm going to pull this over near this box. It's really tiny text that says tacos. All right, whatever. I mean, you can make it say something else. So I click on it to get it selected, and I go Object, Pattern, Make. I'm going to click OK on this warning box. And so right now it's just in rows, right? It's on this grid setting. But again, you could play with that. You could say, well, let's brick it. Maybe let's throw in some horizontal and vertical spacing. Don't be afraid to play with the options that are here. And if you're looking at it, you think, okay, yep, I kind of like what I'm getting here. Come up here and click Done. And then that pattern got put onto the swatches panel. That's what's always going to happen. The pattern gets put onto the swatches panel. So I'm going to drag it and drop it, and there we go. All right, so I would have one more to go, right? I'll just do something really fast. I'll go back to the star idea and bump up the number of points a little bit, and maybe change the color, like a teal. It's more green, but that's okay. Yeah, let's go like a light blue. And Object, Pattern, it has to be selected. Object, Pattern, Make, click OK. That's what it would look like right now. I can play with all of the options. When I'm done, I click Done, and I drag it from the swatches panel onto the box, and there we go. Now this text box right here that says Open Your Swatches Panel, that was put there as a reminder. You don't really have to leave it there if you don't want to. If you feel like, I want to get rid of that, you could just click on it and touch the delete key and get rid of that. And then these little pieces down here that I use to make my patterns, you can get rid of them or you can just leave them there. It doesn't matter either way. But here, this is the assignment. This is the idea behind the assignment. These are preset patterns that were just drag and drop right out of a pattern library. And these were custom patterns that I made myself out of whatever shape or text or whatever I wanted to make it out of. And I showed you how to do it. So I want 5 of these and 5 of these, and no two can be alike. And you got to be careful that make sure that down here at the bottom, these are custom patterns. You make them yourself. Don't just drag something out of a library and drop it. That's not custom. That came from the library. But up here, yeah, you can drag them and drop them out of the library and just make sure they're all different. Then you just save it and turn it in, so that's it.